Hi, my name is Delina Pascal, and I did my report on ADHD, or Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. Let's start with what is ADHD. ADHD is a neurobiological disorder that develops during childhood and can last into adulthood. In fact, in some cases, it's not diagnosed until adulthood. While that's rare, it does happen. ADHD is a behavioral condition that makes focusing on everyday requests and routines challenging. According to the CDC, ADHD is the most common disorder in America, and it affects 11% of all children in the United States. There are treatments available to help both children and adults with ADHD, whether that be seeing a psychologist or medication. There are treatments out there. Some history on ADHD. ADHD was first described in 1902. However, the American Psychological Association, or APA, did not recognize ADHD as a disorder when they published their first edition of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders in 1952. It wasn't until 1968, in the second edition of Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, that this disorder was added, but at the time it was known as hyperkinetic impulsive disorder instead. Later, it was officially changed to ADHD in 1987. The new name was based on the three main symptoms of the disorder, which are inattentiveness, impulsivity, and hyperactivity, which is where you get attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Making a class inclusive. Making a class inclusive is very important as a teacher, not only for children with disabilities, but also for children without. The goal of inclusion is to create and develop schools, classrooms, programs, activities that encourage all students to learn and participate together. Having children in an inclusive classroom while they're young better prepares them for life when they're older. An inclusive classroom or program is beneficial not only for children with disabilities, but also for children without disabilities or typically developing children, because it helps to show them that while people might be different, there's nothing wrong with that. Some ways to make a class inclusive. Some things that can be implemented by a teacher are grouping children in classes by age so that they have a feeling of belonging with their peer group. This is because even though mentally they're different, their age is the same, so they have that connection. Also, employing support teachers for children with learning disabilities and difficulties so that they can get that extra help without having to take away from the main teacher's time. A child with ADHD should be seated near the front of the classroom by the teacher's desk, but not so far towards the front that they're separated from their fellow students. And it's a good idea to place children who will serve as good role models on either side of a child with ADHD. This way peers can help and learn from each other. While inclusion is important, there are some challenges. Some of them being children with ADHD can't concentrate with the same ease as other children of the same age. They get restless, and it's just because their brains are just wired differently. This also means that they have a hard time concentrating on tedious tasks such as schoolwork, lectures, reading quietly, staying in their seats, things like that. Sadly, some children who have but haven't been officially diagnosed, and even sometimes those who have been diagnosed, are labeled as lazy or stupid because they can't keep up with others. And this is a label not only by their peers, but also by some teachers and staff as well. I personally chose ADHD. I chose ADHD because it's personal to me. My nephew was recently diagnosed with severe ADHD, and he's a smart kid, sometimes too smart, but he isn't able to focus for long periods of time. He gets easily discouraged and gives up easy. He dreads going to school because he gets in trouble for not being able to focus and for needing to move around and get up, and he can't help it. That's just how he's wired because he has ADHD. And so personally, I wanted to learn all that I could to help him to be able to see school as a good experience instead of dreading it and having it be a nightmare for him to have to go to school. My mission to help children, not only with ADHD, but with all disabilities, comes down to 4 basic points. I want to expand my knowledge so I can better understand and accommodate students who have disabilities that are in my future classrooms. Also, to remind myself that not every student learns the same way. Even children without disabilities learn differently. Some are hands-on, some are auditory. So that's a thing that all teachers need to learn and realize and plan their lessons accordingly. I also hope to keep up to date with new research about all the different disabilities and about if we're finding out new causes or new treatments, things like that. Just keeping up to date on all the research out there. The overall goal of this is to be able to provide the care and support for children with disabilities and for their families, because while a lot of people focus on the child, the family also needs help too, because they might not be sure what to do if their child has a disability. I hope you liked my presentation, and thank you for watching.